Hi, it's Mark, and in today's Profit Playbook Masterclass, we're going to talk about why free consultations are a waste of time and what to do instead. So today we're going to deep dive on how to automate your acquisition process, triple your closing rates, and finally enjoy the freedom that you've been looking for. And if you haven't already subscribed to our new Profit Playbook YouTube channel, just click to subscribe to get a lot more free training like this. So why don't we go ahead and dive right in and talk about who this is for. So this is for accountants and CPAs who are tired of wasting their precious time with unqualified leads. If you're giving away free advice that clients would gladly pay for, this is definitely for you. If you want better qualified business clients, definitely stick around. If you want higher paying business clients, if you want faster consultation calls to really shorten that sales cycle, and if you're spending valuable time with a prospect only to get ghosted, certainly stick around. Lots of useful information you're going to find here. So let's just kind of set the stage with a quick example. So let's just say you run a small accounting practice and it's Monday morning, and you're about to schedule a call with a prospect, and you hope it's not one of those that they ask in the first 15 seconds. So what are your fees? So unfortunately, you get an email like this. Yes, anytime Thursday afternoon works for me. Can you give me an idea of how much your accounting services start at? If you have a price list, that would be great. So I don't know about you, but that kind of makes me cringe, because that kind of sets the tone for, you can tell they're shopping around, they're just really interested in fees there. So let's unpack that email. Now, you might think that this is a good sign since they're asking about price, so they're serious, but it's not necessarily a case, because no matter what you do or how you present it, 90% of those leads always say something along the lines of how they don't see the value. So this is what we want to overcome, and this is what you're going to learn today. So this is really these types are the price shoppers. These are the tire kickers. There are plenty of names for these folks. The looky-loos. So, and it kind of works like this. You get on a free 45-minute consultation call with this prospect, and they're asking you specific questions. Questions like, so based on my situation, should I transition to an S corp, and can you walk me through the steps? Or, I heard there's a new R&D tax credit. Am I eligible? And if so, can you send me some information on how I can apply? Or my favorite, well, I have a few more CPAs that I'm interviewing, but if you can answer a few specific tax questions for me, it will help me decide that you're the one for me later. Or my absolute favorite, if you can just shoot me a quick email on how I can make these adjustments myself now, then if I need more help, you'll be the first accountant on my list. Okay, so you send out their information and you wait and until you realize you've basically been ghosted. So this is not the situation I want you to be in. So it doesn't have to be like that. And today you're going to learn how to completely take control of the situation and close more highly qualified business leads like clockwork. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now quickly, before we start, just a little bit about myself. So my name is Mark, and back in the day, I got a double major in economics and behavioral psychology at SMC. I'm a former management consultant at Gartner. I started a company called BizPale. So if you haven't heard of BizPale, they're actually one of the largest payments processing companies for accountants in the U.S., and that's been growing quickly. We're actually, as of this year, we're processing just north of $100 million in payments for accountants across the U.S. So that's been growing rapidly. I also started another company called BookGel, and BookGel is it's really a game changer. You may have heard of it, you may have seen it featured a few places, but basically it helps accountants stop underpricing by asking the right questions in the right way to make sure that they're charging a premium fee, and then it uses AI and machine learning to actually check against the market to see what peers are actually charging to make sure that you're always on point, and it helps you and it guides you actually through actually closing that deal. And I'm also a contributor at Accounting Today. So if I publish a lot of articles and research on the latest in trends and what's going on in the accounting industry. So you've probably seen some of my articles featured in other places as well. So again, I love to share. And today we're going to deep dive. And the cool thing about what we're doing today is all the information I'm going to show you how to do yourself step by step. Okay, so let's dive right in. So I'm going to start with a ugly truth first. And that is most accountants would rather be liked than be effective. Okay, I'll repeat that. Most accountants would rather be liked than be effective. And this is a situation that I see a lot. And many, unfortunately, are pleasers. And I don't mean that in a negative way. A lot of my colleagues, a lot of great accountants are out there, doing a great job, very friendly, awesome personality, but they tend to want to please versus, be effective or really getting that the client or essentially asking for the sale. So this is what we're going to try to overcome. And what happens is they want to show how much they know, so they end up giving away valuable advice for free. Now, I'm not sure if you give away advice for free. There's certain things that you can, communicate, but you shouldn't give specific advice away for free. In fact, so people don't buy from friends. They buy from people who can solve their problems and present as experts. And so this is a disease that I like to call effectophobia. It's the fear of being effective due to wanting to be liked. Now, effectophobia, I totally made up that word because I couldn't find any other word that kind of really gets to the root of what I'm trying to describe here. If you can think of a better word, feel free to drop a note in the comments below. Effectophobia is something that I think really defines this. So let's break that down. Let's break down what that really is. So effectophobia, here are the symptoms. Number one, you have more than 2 consultations before closing a client. And as we're going through this, think about if you fall in any of these areas. Some of these may be familiar to you. You answer specific questions for prospects for free. So not clients. You're answering these questions for prospects for free. Number 3, you like to show off how much you know before they sign your retainer. Number 4, you spend a week or 2 back and forth collecting tax and books information before they sign an engagement letter with you. And you don't charge in advance for tax planning strategies. So you're giving out this information for free or for really cheap. You're hesitant to estimate how much they can save by working with you. And so the root cause of this is really lack of proper qualification. So we're going to dive into how to overcome this. So the truth is most prospects really don't care how you solve their problem. They care that the problem is solved. And that problem mostly boils down to either one of 2 things. Number 1, saving the money. Or number 2, helping them make more money. And that's by creating more value. And there's tons of ways that you can create value for small businesses, medium, large businesses as well. So it kind of wraps up into that point there. So it reminds me of a famous Chinese quote. It doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white as long as it catches mice. So I'll repeat that. It doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white as long as it catches mice. So that's a great quote by Deng Xiaoping, and it really defines the crux of what I'm explaining here, because your prospects don't care if you know the U.S. tax code by heart, or you can whip up 27 tax credit opportunities within the first 10 minutes of your call. Or, maybe you can give them a dissertation on the benefits of an S-Corp election for small businesses. What matters is that you can solve their problem, okay? And maybe the problem is about revenue or profit or tax credits or an audit. It really doesn't matter, but they just want that problem solved, okay? You are the expert. You are the professional, and it's your responsibility to be able to do that for them. Okay, so now, you don't need to tell the prospect exactly how you're going to solve the problem. You just need to convey that you have the solution and that you are the one who is best fit to solve it for them. And it boils down to, it's really a numbers game. If you are only speaking with one new lead per month, then you're probably trying to do everything it takes to win that prospect's business. And unfortunately, that neediness shows that, and many prospects can actually hear that desperation in your voice. And now, on the other hand, if you have 10 or 20 or more leads a month, you're likely to be more discriminate. So you can be more selective in the clients and type of clients that you actually bring on board. So that is to say, fewer prospects mean you hope that they choose you, and more prospects mean that you get to choose your clients. And that's the situation you really want to be in. And if you're watching this training, chances are you're probably somewhere in this range. So the strategy I'm about to share works best for those firms that already have at least 3 to 5 or so or more leads per month. So you're already getting that a minimum lead flow in. And the solution is in how you qualify these leads. So let's just kind of go through a quick little example here. So if you're like 98% of accountants with a website, you probably have a simple contact us form on your site. Some form, and this is a really basic example here, name, email, subject message. So now the problem with this is that you're setting a tone that the prospect is in control, not you. So you're going to probably gather a lot more information on your first call, but why leave it to chance whether you're going to be speaking with a very profitable company that's doing $4 million in revenue versus just maybe just a college student looking to get his 1040 filed. So you don't really want to leave that to chance. Okay, so now a better example is this is another just slightly different, and this one is kind of the same, but it has a little drop down for industry. So what is your industry? So that's a bit more information. Now here's a better one, and so this one has a bit more. So it asks questions like, what type of entity is your business? How much revenue do you expect to bring in this year? Okay. So now the challenge is the longer the form, the fewer completions. So again, it's you don't want to get to the point where your form is so long that no one ever wants to complete it. But there has to be a good balance between the proper information, the right qualification, and getting a form that not only they complete, but they want to complete. So what we're going to go through is how to give them an incentive to want to complete that information, so you can have a lot more information and be prepared before you hop on that first call. So, and nobody likes more work, right? So you want to give them that right incentive, so you're not having them do a bunch more work, and that's how you end up like this guy. And hopefully that's not an accountant there, but as you can see, that's a pretty busy person. So as your contact form improves, something interesting starts to happen with your initial calls. They become better qualified and potentially better clients as well. So the trick is to capture as much relevant qualification information as possible, but to also give them a reason to do the extra work up front. Now, unless you started your accounting practice yesterday, chances are how to save most clients money. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by how to save clients money? So let's unpack this a little bit. So most accountants already save their clients money using one or more of the following methods. And as an accountant or CPA, a lot of these may be very familiar to you. Hopefully they are. So things like depreciation, deferrals, prepayments, amortization, tax credits and opportunities, entity restructuring, 1031 exchanges. There's many more ways that you can save the client money or provide value. So these are the things that you really want to focus on, and keep in mind, you're not an H&R Block where you're reactively cranking out tax returns at the end of the season. Rather you're being proactive by leveraging a lot of these methods here that I'm listing. And now, if you ever did a regression analysis with your business customers, in their data, you actually find that you're actually saving your clients quite a bit. So I would encourage you and invite you to kind of go back and check, but chances are you're already doing a lot of these things. So why not, mention this and use it to be more effective in your sales? Okay, so here's the solution, and I call this the Rev Strategy, and basically it stands for reciprocate, educate, evaluate. So the big idea here is to let prospective clients know that in return for more information up front, you will see if you can save them a few grand every year. So this is basically giving them an estimate of what they can save coming on board with you versus trying to go it alone or with other accountants that really don't use a lot of these strategies. And it works if you're targeting mainly business clients. So if you're a 1040 mil or just focus on individuals and not really business clients, it's not going to be as effective. And Rev will systematically take lead from prospect to close. Okay, so let's break down what Rev is. So reciprocate. So this is really, the prospect gives you their basic business information in exchange for your estimate. So it's basically you're reciprocating, right? They give you information, you give them value in return. Okay. Educate. You will use their info to educate them on how they can improve with your help. And this is with some of the strategies that you're going to be providing in ways that you can save them money. And evaluate. So with their detailed contact information, you'll now provide an estimated value of how much you may be able to save them. So there's a lot of things that you're going to be able to grab to really get to what you can potentially save them. So now this is my Rev Strategy was largely inspired by Dr. Robert Cialdini's influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. It's an awesome book. I highly recommend it, and it really basically boils down to 6 principles of persuasion: reciprocity, commitment, consistency, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. So these are all combined, and basically what I've done with Rev is kind of distilled that and taking a lot of the key principles to turn it into, reciprocate, educate, and evaluate. So let's just kind of see what this looks like in conjunction with the strategy that I'm showing you today. So here's an example. So in this case, the strategy is used to convert your plain vanilla contact form into a questionnaire that communicates and then delivers value. So this is just an example of a website, and this what I'm going to show you, it works on any website. So this is just an example here, no fancy coding or any programming necessary. So this says here, give me 5 minutes and I'll see if I can save you 10K or more this year. We'd love to provide you with a detailed plan of action on our first call. And then there's a little button that says show me how. Now, this is going to link to what we call our value form. And again, you can link this to any button on your site, whether it's called show me how, whether it's to contact us. Heck, you can actually use this in your email signature on social media. So this value form you can pretty much use everywhere. And I'm just giving you an example with a website. So when your prospect clicks on that button, it takes them to the form. And so this form says, we'd love to provide you with a detailed plan of action on our first call. Would you mind giving us a few more details first? It takes about 5 minutes. So they have 2 options here. Yes, I have 5 minutes, or no, I don't have 5 minutes. Now, if they click on yes, I have 5 minutes and click on next, it's going to take them to an extended form here. So in this extended form, it has a lot of key questions that you're going to need to really figure out how much you can save them and really if they're actually a good fit for you. Things like, how many states does your business operate in? Do you currently have an accountant? Are you interested in tax planning? These are key questions, questions about revenue and profit as well. So I won't go through the whole form here, but again, this really gets to the crux of what you're going to really need to help them on that first call, so you can be prepared. Now, on the other hand, if they said no to this, if they said no, I don't have 5 minutes, it's going to redirect them to a basic contact form, which looks something like this. And by the way, everything you see here is fully customizable, and I'll go into the details on exactly how you can do this. Everything from your logo to the colors, everything you see here is very customizable. So this is a basic contact form. So if they don't have much time, they say, hey, no, I don't have 5 minutes. You get the basic information. It has basic stuff like, what type of entity, how much revenue are you making, and then they'll click on submit, and you'll get that information in your email. So either way, worst case scenario, you get basic contact information. Best case, you're getting a lot more information. Okay, so a quick breakdown of what the value form actually does. So number one, it positions you as a professional who values their time. Again, it's the reciprocity, right? They're giving you information, but you're going to be giving them a lot back after that detailed information. So this form lets you embed in your existing website. So as I mentioned, no coding is necessary. And again, stick with me. I'm going to show you exactly how you do this step by step on this masterclass training. Number three, it gives your prospects a choice according to whether they have 5 minutes or not. So again, it's totally up to them whether they want to provide the information or not. So you always give them a choice. And if they don't have 5 minutes, it redirects to a typical contact form, as I mentioned. And if they do, then it gathers a bit more information. And the contact info can be sent directly to your inbox or existing CRM. Now, you don't have to have a CRM. I recommend it for organizational and processes, but it works without it. Even if you're using a spreadsheet to collect information, that's totally fine. So this form is fully customized, including your logo, slogan, questions, everything you see here, your picture. It can totally be customizable. And what I'm showing you is actually going to be free. I'm not selling anything here. This is something that you can do totally for yourself. And it's an amazing way to think about how you bring on clients. Okay, so let's just kind of break down value form versus traditional contact form. So basically, both of them capture basic contact information, all right? Now, the big differences here, so the value form, it captures that extended business information, so a lot more questions about things like revenue and so forth. It qualifies the prospect, right? So I'm going to show you on the next slide kind of like the process and how you can think through it. It also saves time on discovery calls, right? How many calls have you been on, where you schedule a call, and if they bother to show up, you find out that it's just a person that it's not going to be a good fit. It's not a good fit for your practice. So it kind of cuts down on that significantly. So you can schedule a call only for qualified leads. So basically, when they go through the value form, they don't get access to your calendar or to a calendar link unless they are indeed qualified. And I'll break that down in just a moment here. You can also determine the priority using conditional logic. Now, I don't want this to sound too complex. It's actually very simple, and on the flow screen I'll show you next. What I mean by this is basically you can set priorities. So particularly if you're a larger firm or you're scaling up, you can set how you want that lead to flow and who you want it to flow to using conditional logic. And again, all this is built into what I'm going to show you here. You can route to team based on that workflow. And it encrypts sensitive client information. So if they're providing some additional information, a lot of these contact forms are basic. They're really not compliant, and so you definitely want to make sure that sensitive information is secure. Okay, so this is kind of what the flow looks like, and this is just an example. Let me go ahead and zoom in so we can kind of get a better look at this. And by the way, when I switch to here, I'm using a tool called FigJam, and I'm gonna share in the show notes below all the free tools that I'm using to build this. Again, we're not selling anything. This is all free tools that you're gonna use to put together this system yourself. I'll give you some more additional resources at the end if you need a little help. But so this is essentially the value form flow, and just to kind of quickly break this down, so it starts with the prospect visits your website, right? And then remember on the form it says, do you have 5 minutes or not? Now, if not, then it redirects them to your standard contact form, and where you grab the basic information, and then that routes it to your assistant to follow up for further qualification. So again, it depends on how big you are, how you're structured. If you have an assistant, hopefully as a partner, you're not doing everything yourself. And then then the assistant contacts that person for further qualification. Now, if that person is qualified, then it jumps back into they get a calendar link to schedule a call with the partner, and the partner prepares a call based on the client information. Auto call reminder is sent prior to the call just to make sure that they show up and remind them. You basically conduct a strategy call and presentation, and then if the prospect wants to move forward, then you send a proposal engagement letter. If not, then you mark them as deal lost or closed in your CRM. Now, you don't have to have a CRM. You can have a Notepad or Excel. That's fine. I'm just giving you an example here. So now, if the other way, if they said that they do have 5 minutes, so they go to the value form where they're filling out that extended information, and of all the information they're giving you, there's really only one or two key things that really trigger that the main qualification. For most firms, it's revenue. So if they don't have any revenue, then it may not be a good fit for your particular practice. So in this case, we're saying if they're over 250K in annual revenue, then that allows the calendar link to be displayed. So again, this is a subjective number. It depends on your firm. Some firms want a higher revenue client, or this can be a different condition. So again, if that is true, then they go down that same path, right? So this is basically how it works. And what I didn't show you under if they don't have 5 minutes, if they decided that if they were not qualified on this part, then what happens is then you mark them as not qualified. So the key here is it's saving you time, because a lot of accountants make the mistake of going through all of this information only to find out at the very end, after that 45-minute call, that they're really not qualified, or really making your calendar very busy for unqualified leads. So this helps you, really get past that, filter out the noise, and this is basically a process that you can put in place, and I'm going to show you how exactly you can do this. Okay, so let's hop back into this, how you can actually implement this for yourself for free, step by step. So step number 1, map your process. So think through and map out your qualification process flow. And I recommend using FigJam, which is the tool that a tool I use religiously to visualize all my workflows. This is the tool that I'm showing you here. You can edit it. You can make changes. It's really cool. It's an awesome free tool. I can't recommend it enough. I'm not getting paid to say this, but and I just love this tool. It's an awesome tool. Number 2, set up your value form, and I recommend using JotForm or Google Forms. Both are free. They're great tools for using your form. Number 3, add to website. So add value form to your website button, and I recommend grabbing, use JotForm or Google Forms. Use that link and then set it to that Show Me How button or the Contact Us link on your website. So again, looking back on your website, if you have a Contact Us button or a Show Me button or Learn More button, you can link this form directly to that, and you don't have to do any fancy coding or editing or anything like that. You just set a link and it directs it right to it. Okay, and if you don't want to change your website yet, if you don't want to link to any button, you can actually start by using this form link in your email signature or as a QR code on your business card, using maybe a free QR code generator, and I'll share this link as well. So there's lots of ways you can get started with this, but the key is being able to implement this so you can have a lot more qualified leads there. So number 4, set up scheduling app. So set up a scheduling app that can set appointments based on qualified leads. And so that So I recommend Calendly. This works really good with their free version. So just to give you an idea here, remember when we're going to this step here where, hey, if they are qualified, in this case they have a certain amount of annual revenue, then they get access to your Calendly link. So that's where that fits in right there. Okay. Step 5, set up CRM. So set up a CRM that tracks leads. And so here's the thing. Honestly, you can actually start with a Google Sheet or Trello. You don't have to have a CRM in place right now. You can always move up later to something fancier like Zoho CRM, Fresh Sales, Active Campaign. There's tons out there. If you're looking for a recommendation, drop a note actually or a comment below. I can share with you what we're working with these days, what we love, or any questions. Happy to answer that for you. You can also use a tool called Zapier, which is a free-ish tool, free-ish because they have a basic plan and then they have some paid plans as well, depending on how many zaps you do. But basically, it automates your busy work. So when you go through these flows, it automatically triggers certain things like sending it to Google Sheets or sending it to Trello or sending it to a CRM. You don't have to use it, but it makes it a lot easier, and it does it, helps you 24/7 around the clock because it's automated. Okay, and number 6, send engagement. So this is where you send engagement letter proposal right after the call, and this could be as simple as a PDF that you're emailing that the client e-signs. Maybe you're already using e-signature software, or you're sending the bank draft info in your engagement letter or Word document, and so you can use your existing system, or you can use an app like BizPayo. Again, sorry, shameless plug for my company BizPayo. BizPayo lets you send out engagements, get it e-signed, collect their ACH or credit card information, and you can actually avoid the fee on the credit card side. And then once they pay you, you get an alert, and then it also prompts them to give you a Google review after payment. So it actually boosts your online presence as well. Anyway, super cool tool. Of course, I'm biased on this, so but what the process in general here I'm describing, a lot of these tools are interchangeable, right? Don't get stuck on what the tool is. Think about the process, right? So when you think through this process, this is what's going to really define that tool for you. So again, I'll go ahead and share this so you can keep this in mind. Okay, so now this is only the tip of the iceberg, and this is how you can completely do it yourself. Now I won't pretend that this is going to solve all your problems or make you a millionaire at your firm. But so the main missing part here is what to do once you actually get the meeting. That's really where the main sales and the real relationship begins, and you need to ensure a few things happen in that meeting in order to convey confidence, command respect, and ensure that you're actually charging a premium fee for your services. So that's why today I'm actually giving access to a new 37-page step-by-step guide on exactly how you can do this yourself. Now, before I give this away at the end, step number 7, rinse and repeat. So sit back, enjoy more revenue with better qualified prospects by going through this process. And you can go through this. If you have any questions on the steps, I'm happy to answer that for you. Okay, so this is what I'm giving away today, and it's how to grow your accounting firm 60% in 60 days without spending a dime on new leads. And you can scan this little QR code, you get instant access to it, no email to input, you get access to it right away, or you can go to this link here, bit.ly/profit-playbook. And this guide will show you how you can use an unfair advantage to close higher paying business clients, command premium fees, and land business clients who you actually will enjoy working with and who really value and respect your time. And again, you completely do all this yourself, for free. You don't need any fancy software or academy or consultant that you're spending thousands of dollars on. So a lot of the information I give, it's really to empower you to do it and to show you, right? Now, I realized a long time ago that some folks just like a little help or would rather have, someone, guide them through it to help them on this journey. So, free is great, but, sometimes this is worth making it happen a little sooner because you avoid the pitfalls by doing it yourself. And I was actually painfully reminded of this lesson recently, where I was basically, it was about a week ago, I recently was getting some work done at home, and I wasted a week trying to play plumber and at home, and I literally threw in the towel, and I ended up just hiring a plumber, and they got it fixed in less than an hour. So again, you just sometimes you just want to get a little more help. So, okay, so if you feel that you need some extra help, feel free to grab this guide. You'll find a lot of useful information on really how to take it to the next level. And I'll also include this guide in the notes below. So thanks for joining today. I hope you found this helpful, and best of luck and, growing your firm and being very successful at that.